Greetings, everyone. This is Maggie McKee, independent Nikken consultant from Vancouver, Canada. And I am really excited to be with you on this channel today with some of my colleagues, because we want to share with you and demonstrate to you what choosing active wellness and collaborative entrepreneurship is. The folks you're going to be hearing from today, in addition to myself, are collaborative entrepreneurs. We're not in the same organization in our business, but we always show up to help each other and to spread the word of Nikken all around the world. As you can see from this first slide, we're here today so we can help you make a choice to have whatever you find is the most useful part of Nikken for yourself. You've probably already seen a presentation of the technologies, the wellness home technologies that Nikken has developed over the last 42 years. We're in over 20 countries. We have consultants on our team who are anywhere from 19 to 90, so there are no barriers to this business if it feels like a fit for you. So we want to help you make the decision that's the right one for you, so you can have a home career that's not just a business from home. It's not just a job. It is a philosophy, a lifestyle, and a holistic approach to life. We encompass all of these 5 pillars of health in our business. The products obviously address the healthy body issue, but you know, everything's connected. So when you have a healthier body, you have a healthier mind, your family benefits, society benefits, and you usually are able to create more financial wellness because of that. So let's start with, first of all, my story. 22 years ago, I was introduced to Nikken, and I had been desperately seeking a solution. I had had 30 years of chronic pain, and I had spent thousands of hours and thousands of dollars looking for a solution that wasn't going to involve more surgery. I tried that. I didn't like it. I don't recommend surgery unless it's a last resort. I didn't want more medication. My doctor was very happy to prescribe that, but that's not what I wanted. So when I was introduced to Nikken by a really dear friend who's also a healthcare professional, I just knew intuitively that this was going to be the solution, because it was something that I could surround myself with 24/7. I could live in a wellness home, breathe the best air, drink the best water, have the best sleep, the best nutrition, and also the best natural light. So within 3 months, that 30 years of chronic pain was gone. And I know that there are other people on the line who've had some pretty remarkable experiences, either for themselves or somebody that they love. So I'm going to ask Mary Dean from Everett, Washington, to talk a little bit, Mary, if you could, about your personal health story, but also how this has benefited your family.
Well, thank you, Maggie, for asking me to share my story. 19 years ago, I was looking at having a second back surgery because I had been miserable. I'd had 30+ years of several autoimmune problems, and I worked as a registered nurse, and there were no answers for me. And I really had reached the end of my patience with all of this, and I really didn't know what was going to happen next. I had a wonderful husband and a beautiful family, and I wanted my life to be about serving others, and none of these areas in my life was working very well, except maybe the family piece of it, because my husband was so generous with his love and care. So when a magnet was shared with me, and I could sit on bleachers watching my daughter play basketball, which I did several nights a week. Even though I couldn't imagine how this was working, I hadn't ever seen anything like this in the allopathic or Western medicine approach to sick care. A few weeks later, my husband, who'd been a chemistry teacher, saw it and decided that this is what we needed in our family. And then the lights went on several weeks later when I realized that what I'd always wanted to do was to have this balance in my life. I was raising my own girls. I was a foster mom, trying to maintain a clinic job, and the ability to have these technologies to help the little ones that I was caring for help me sleep better so I could be the best I needed to be in every aspect of my life. It was a dream come true. And I've never looked back, and it was so powerful and compelling that I decided that leaving my traditional job was what I needed to do. I missed certain parts of my nursing career, but it certainly, any pieces that I missed definitely got filled in by the relationships, the ability to help people in a very profound way without causing any harm, and help people in areas beyond just their body. So it was definitely a dream come true.
So Mary, as you said, 18 years. So what has kept you going through all this time? Because any business or any choice that we make, you know, there are going to be challenges. So what keeps you so excited about sharing this after 18 years?
Well, probably the thing that caught my attention was the personal development. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go well, but the focusing on helping people be the best that they could be, Nikken's approach gave me a toolbox for me to keep writing things and being clear about my destination. So as long as I kept refocusing that this was about helping others be the best that they could be, then pretty soon things tinkled into place. And working collaboratively with people like you, Maggie, our paths would never have crossed had I not got involved in Nikken. So being able to work like that was, to me, that was a big part of this gift. And in my traditional job, if I kept going around asking for help, somebody probably would have thought that I might have made up the fact that I had a nursing degree. Not here in Nikken. We all does sound like it's too good to be true, but it's 19 years of building these relationships and opening up other people to the possibilities.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to go east to Alban, who's in Toronto. And you just said it's how warm in Toronto right now, then?
It's 21 degrees Celsius.
That's very, very nice for this time of year. So
I think it's perfect. I think it's freezing.
Do you? Oh. I know Veronica would think that's really cool too. But Alban, what attracted you to Nikken quite a few years ago? And why are you still part of this?
Well, in 1996, I was on that cat treadmill. You know how you're just kind of going around and round and round, and you don't know when it's going to stop. I was involved in the car industry, and I could see no future, but I didn't have time to think about that no future because I was busy 7 days a week. And so one day, one of my clients came in and said to me, Alban, if you wanted to make an extra $20,000 a year, what would you do? And I had to think about it. And I thought, well, first of all, I can't work any more hours than I already am working. But if you were to get more hours, where would you get it from? Again, I thought about it, and what I came up with was, well, my family, because that's where we all take the time from. Mm-hmm. And so he drew a picture, exactly what you have on the screen here. He drew that picture on a piece of paper on my desk, and he said, mind, body, family, society, finances. In living a life in balance was my spiritual life. And he said, take 100% and divide it and tell me what you see. What I did when I saw that, it scared me because 95% of my time was spent in finances. My family life was, so-so. And so I decided right there and then that I liked that philosophy. I was looking at the time for a plan B, something that would be able to supplement me in case something went wrong. So the timing was right. Mm-hmm. I came in this company because of the products, because of the 5 pillars of health. That is what made me who I am today. It lit up a passion in the pit of my stomach that made me want to do this business so bad, and I didn't know anything about it.
Wow,
when I was
that's cool.
By the products, I had an overwhelming experience, I'll say, because my aching feet, my aching back, and that dot that used to be right in the middle of my forehead because of the pressure disappeared. The stress was killing me. I knew it was killing me, but I didn't know how to get off that train.
Mm.
And so that's when I made a decision. I introduced it to my wife, and my wife says, I don't believe that you're going to quit selling cars and you're going to sell these insoles. And so I said, this is what I want to do. I invested about $2,500 in products. I thought my wife was going to have a heart attack because I never consulted her on it. And here I am 20 years later. That passion is still there. The fire is diminished a little bit, but with the team that we're on, with you, Maggie, and Veronica, and Michael, that flame is starting to light up big time.
Alban, this is starting to sound like more than a business. This sounds like a movement. Do you think we could make a global movement out of this?
I think we have talked about this before, and if you could spell movement, this is what it would look like. A cause, something that can change mankind, and it's like the little kid at the beach. It's one pebble at a time, right?
Yep.
So, yes, I would definitely call this a movement.
Okay. One of the things that I heard recently that really stuck with me is that if we want to change the world, we need to change how we do business. And I really believe that Nikken for 42 years has had that approach that is making that difference, that is changing the world. We just need to let more people know what we're doing so we can have more people on board with this, especially young people like Veronica Ampudia from Mexico City. Veronica,
yes.
Can you unmute and come on and tell us why you as a young woman are part of this movement?
Well, thank you, Maggie. Thank you for inviting me to your call. Thank you for the young. I'm not that young, but I'm 42 years old. I have 3 kids, an 18-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter, and an 11-year-old son. And I started working since I was 18 in the corporate world. And I worked there for about 20 years. And I loved it. I loved what I do, but I didn't like the stress in which I used to live. And I would always pray to have a job where I could help out others. And Nikken came into my life, and I didn't believe in the products because I studied business administration, so I didn't know anything about these products or health or anything related to that. So I didn't believe in the products. I didn't believe in the business model because I've never had been in access to this business model. So, but what I understood was the philosophy. I saw a 40-year-old company with a unique philosophy, which is the 5 pillars of health, and a company looking to improve people's quality of life and live a balanced life. And that's exactly what I needed. So I decided to try it. The same as Alban, I invested like $2,500 in products to try them because I've never been in sales. I'm not a salesperson. So I didn't see how I was going to pull this business off without knowing how to sell and without believing in the products or in the business. So, but I decided to try. And that was 4.5 years ago. I advanced in ranks. I have a sustained organization that works monthly. And I quit every other activity that I was doing to put all my energy into Nikken and into putting Nikken in the map and showing other people that there is another way. It's not perfect, but it sure is better. And I do not get tired of reaching out to people that were in my situation and telling them that there is another way.
Absolutely. So, you know, everybody's talked a little bit about modern life and stress. Mary Helen, your job as a very, very busy nurse, and Alban in the car business, and Veronica in corporate. I was a college professor, and, you know, I could read this list and say, yeah, I've been affected, or people I love have been affected by all of these stresses. There are just so many things that weigh on us, and all four of us were looking for a way to relieve that stress, and a way to not crumble under all of this stuff that's happening, you know, shortage of money, healthcare costs, too much debt, cost of living. And I live in Vancouver, one of the most expensive cities in the world. And I see so many young people who can't afford to live here. I want to change that, because we can give people a business that allows them to build an extra income while they are still working at their traditional job if they choose. But some people can't even find a job because of the unemployment rates and so on. So the list goes on of things that stress us out financially. So if we look at that financial pillar of Nikken, obviously the body is taken care of by the products. Most of us have moved out of full-time professions into either part-time or full-time with Nikken, so that we have the time with our family. And for me, you know, when I started this business 22 years ago, it looked to me like a really creative retirement plan. I wasn't planning on quitting my job, believe me. I just thought this would be cool to build this so that when I retired, I had more resources. And within 3 years, this business outstripped anything I could do in terms of income from my college position. So I wasn't a salesperson. I'm still not a salesperson, but like everybody on this line, I am passionate about what Nikken can do to help other people. So if that's sales, I guess we're all salespeople. But what we are about as a global team of collaborative entrepreneurs is to help other people understand what active wellness is, first of all, what living in balance is, first of all, and we've done that ourselves so we can show that to other people. We're the models. We live that lifestyle. And I just want you to imagine if every home was a wellness home, if every home had the energy environment that we have with Nikken, you know, we would win the Nobel Prize for everything, because, you know, we would be cutting down on illness. We would be obviously increasing income and so on. So it's a very straightforward concept. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating, because what we do is we share with people. You know, I met with some people today that are really interested in what this can do to help them. A fellow here in town who has decided, because his father had a heart attack, to work with some diagnostic equipment to help people find out sooner than later, whether they have conditions that might require some medical attention. And he's doing it, you know, for such an affordable price. So he's going to come to my place and he's going to show me what he's got. And I'm going to say, you know, people who get diagnosed with some stress, perhaps this can be an answer for them. So there's all kinds of opportunities to collaborate. So we then, you know, we have a lot of customers. Our main first thing we do is to collect you know, our customers, in other words, attract our customers and serve them well. So we do that. And then some people decide that they want to join this team so that they can belong to this community of like-minded entrepreneurs. So let's just look at how we do this. It has to be a straightforward process that anyone can do, because if it gets too complicated, especially those of us who already had complicated lives, we're not going to do it. So the passion has to be there, but it also has to be simple. So the first thing we do is we join Nikken. And we become a customer ourselves. Like Alban said, and Veronica said, I did the same thing. Mary Helen did the same thing. We invested in the wellness home technologies so that we could experience those benefits. And then we decided that we wanted to share this with other people. So we promote this by being a poster child ourselves. I mean, 30 years of chronic pain gone. I looked different. I felt different. I acted different. People wanted to know what I was doing. And I know it was the same for you, Mary Helen. So we then have a conversation based on that person's interest. And if they decide they want to invest in the wellness home, we connect them to Nikken for the products. If they decide they want to share this with other people, we connect them to being a consultant with us. So it's very simple. We match their needs and their interests. Then when they place an order, the cool thing is we're done. Nikken takes their credit card, Nikken ships their products, Nikken does everything that I wouldn't want to do in a traditional business. And then on the 15th of every month, I look in my bank account, and miraculously, there are the thank you dollars from Nikken. And there's so many different ways that Nikken rewards us, but the primary thing that we start with is the retail commissions that we get. So it's very simple to upgrade from being a free registered customer to becoming a consultant. $99 gives you a fully hosted website, all kinds of back office tools to manage your team and to learn more about Nikken and so on. And what we start out by creating, what we encourage people to do is look at 500 points of sales, $500 US of sales every month on a repeat basis. So that might be 5 customers, that might be 10 customers, whatever it takes. And then we connect those 5 customers to Nikken for the products. And some people in that group will decide that they want to partner up with us and become our first and our next business partners. So it's a progression that's very organic, very natural. And then what happens is, as we build a team of entrepreneurs, this is an exponential mathematical equation here. It's not linear. So if you had the concept that you could find 3 people and teach those 3 people to reach 3 people, when you did that, the total of those would be yourself plus 3 plus 9 plus 27 is 39 people. And if every one of those people is doing 500 points a month in business, you're going to have an ongoing income of about $1,300 a month. And if you do the math, and if you were looking at having an investment, a cash investment that would yield you that much a month, does anybody know the math on how much that would be? At 5%? I figured it out once. It's I don't know, $250,000. It's a lot of money, and most people can't accumulate that, but they can build this business part-time, okay? And then once those 3 teach the next 3, you can see how this expands out, and each level that you reach, your income has the potential to expand based on 120 people doing $500 a month, it's $2,400, and so on and so forth. So you were talking about $20,000 a year, Alban. We know people that make $20,000 a month and more. So anything is possible here, depending on what your passion is, depending on what your ability time-wise is, and so on. So those of you who are on the call, how do you explain this to people that are looking to join your business? Is it a pretty simple process? I know, Veronica, you've developed a 5x4, which I think is brilliant. So maybe you can talk about how you show this model so that people don't get overwhelmed.
Okay, well, we designed something that we call the 5x4. So in a piece of paper, we divide the paper in 4. You put a horizontal line and a vertical line. So on the first square, we talk about the philosophy, the 5 pillars of health. So our philosophy is about achieving balance in health, in body, mind, society, finance, and family. And then we go to the next square right next to that, and we talk about the 5 lines of product. How do we make the philosophy happen? By promoting our 5 lines of product, which are air, water, sleep, nutrition, and light. And as you can see, those are your basic intakes in the human body that you need to survive. So the quality of this does matter. If you have a car, it does matter what kind of gasoline you put into your car. So it really does matter the supplies that you put into your system, especially for your basic activity, which is sleep, breathing, eating, etc. So we achieve the philosophy through the 5 lines of product. And then on the third square, we talk about the 5 income sources we have in the business. So if you promote these products, you have 5 ways of earning money. The first one is 25% of income for every, maybe I don't have the right terms, Maggie, so you can jump in whenever I mess up. 25% of of income from every product you sell. Then the second source of income is I call it cash back, and you can have between 5 and 20% extra income depending on what rank you're in. In addition to that, we have a third way of income, which is by building a network. If you invite others to join your network and do the same thing that you're doing, as Maggie explained, you can earn between 5 and 10% additional for whatever the people in your network are doing. And then the fourth income way would be leadership. If you become a leader and you help others in your organization to become a leader, you're gonna earn 6% of each leader and its organization. So if you're looking for lots of zeros in your check, you need to have lots of leaders. So as Botana says, the bigger the network, the bigger the check. And the fifth way is bonus. When you achieve a gold rank in Nikken, you get an extra bonus. So that's the third square. We talk about the 5 ways of earning money in Nikken. And then if you really want to build a business, we go to the 4th square. And on the 4th square, we talk about the 5 things you need to do to really build a big, sustainable, scalable, and replicable business. And these things are contacting, inviting, doing the ABC, which is our methodology, training, and events. So just as simple as that, we put all the information into these 4 squares, so anybody can explain in a very short period of time what we do and how we do it.
Great, and that's really helpful. Thank you so much, Veronica. And as you can see on this slide, there are also cash bonuses for different contests, incentives for trips and so on. And the one thing that's not on here is the Watanabe Scholarship program that is for children of Nikken consultants. And it basically is a scholarship for those students to attend university in the United States. And it's an unlimited thing. So that's really so generous of the company to support the next generation as well. So I started part-time because I didn't have a lot of time. I was doing it in the cracks of time, as I'm sure you were, Alban, because you were still working in the car industry. And I chose to move to full-time because it allowed me to have not just the life in balance, but the freedom. And I was saying, somebody said to me today, what do you do? I said, well, I do, because I work from home. I do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, if I want. And it's really fun. So if that appeals to you, then look at what it is that you would like to do in order to gain some income from this generous company and living this philosophy of balance. So Mary Helen, you went very quickly to full-time, didn't you? Or did you start part-time?
Well, I very quickly outgrew my job, let's put it that way. I could no longer sit there and promote what Western medicine had to offer when I knew I had something so profound that had no side effects, and I'd had such dramatic results myself. Mm-hmm. So, and I, as you were talking about the different ways to start, I realized I just had this aha again, which I do on a regular basis. I've had because of the 5 pillars of health and installing that belief in me and having this collaborative work environment, I have been able to stay on course with the areas in my life that are my passion, and that is working with the marginalized, I've been able to adopt these boys. So that, 2 boys, that has been my full-time endeavor. And I've been able to do Nikken in between times. And it's provided me with my health. I got helped the boys get their health back as best as it could be and given hope to others. And there were times when the income wasn't probably like it should have been, but being on purpose was more important than making money, and the money will come, and it has as I've persevered. So until Peter is our youngest son that we adopted, I probably will not be able to do this as full-time as I'd like, but I'm so grateful that I was given this opportunity to have choices, and most people don't have that. And that is part of what I like to offer people. You can participate here and have choices and build yourself into something that is so meaningful and impactful in people's lives.
Thank you. Thank you. Veronica, what would you say to people who are looking at this, especially younger people? What is the hope and the promise that you offer to people in this business?
Well, freedom is the word. Being a mom of 3 and working full-time, it's not easy. And as Alban said, you have to take time out of other things to meet certain goals in your job or in your business. And Nikken is not like that. In Nikken, you can have it all. You can be a mom. You can have a nice home. You can attend your family and what you like to do. You don't have to leave everything behind to build a career. In Nikken, you can build a career having your life balanced and being with your kids. Right now, I'm in the car. I had 3 little guys in the back, and they just jumped out, and I'm working. So it's a very friendly environment, and it's the total opposite of corporate. So if you want a friendly environment where you can make real money and live in balance, it's a no-brainer. You need to try.
Absolutely. And living on purpose, like Mary Helen said.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Thank you so much for all your contributions today, folks. And I hope this has inspired those of you who are watching to really explore what is active wellness, what is this collaborative entrepreneurship, and how can you become involved and help us help others have those choices as well. So we're going to sign off now and wish you all the very best of every bit of the 5 pillars of health. Bye, everybody.